Same plant, same species. One of these lavenders is dying in slow motion. The other one looks like it's been thriving since the Roman Empire, which, for the record, is also when people started growing it. Here's the part that's going to annoy you. The dead one probably got more attention. More water, more fertilizer, more "I'm taking care of you, I promise." This video covers the 5 real reasons lavender plants fail: watering mistakes, soil mistakes, sunlight mistakes, and pest mistakes, and the specific simple fixes for each one. This isn't generic plant care advice recycled from 100 other gardening channels. This is what actually keeps lavender alive long term, explained in a way that makes sense the first time you hear it. Let's get into it. Number 1. The watering mistake. Why more care is killing your lavender. Here's the single biggest reason beginner gardeners lose lavender plants. They water it like a normal houseplant, on a schedule, out of habit, out of love. Lavender is native to the rocky, sun-baked hillsides of the Mediterranean, places where rain is rare and soil drains in seconds. Its root system evolved for drought, not for daily hydration. When you water lavender on the same schedule you'd use for a fern or a basil plant, you're essentially trying to keep a desert cactus on a tropical rainforest watering plan. The plant doesn't politely ask you to stop, it just slowly drowns from the roots up, while the leaves on top look mostly fine, which is exactly why people don't catch the problem until it's too late. Water lavender deeply, but infrequently, and always check the soil first. Stick your finger 2 inches down. If it's still damp, walk away. Lavender would genuinely rather you forget about it for a week than remember it every single day. In containers, this means choosing a pot with serious drainage holes, not the 1 or 2 tiny holes that came standard, but actual drainage. In the ground, it means never planting lavender in a low spot where water pools after rain. If your yard has a spot that's always slightly soggy, that spot is lavender's natural enemy, regardless of how much sun it gets. Number 2, the soil mistake. This one trips up beginners constantly because it goes against almost everything else you've learned about gardening. Rich, dark, nutrient-dense soil is bad for lavender. Most plants want organic matter, moisture retention, and fertility. Lavender wants the opposite. It wants lean, sandy, fast-draining soil, the horticultural equivalent of a minimalist apartment. No clutter, no extra stuff sitting around, just enough structure to hold the roots in place and let everything else drain straight through. When you plant lavender in standard potting mix or rich garden soil, you're giving it soil that holds onto water exactly as long as it shouldn't. Combine that with even moderate watering, and you've built the perfect environment for root rot, which is the actual cause of death in the overwhelming majority of "my lavender just died for no reason" stories. If the soil looks good enough to grow a thriving vegetable garden, it's probably too rich for lavender. Lavender wants soil that would make a tomato plant nervous. If you're a beginner gardener trying to actually keep your plants alive instead of guessing your way through it, this channel is built for exactly that. Every week, we break down the real reasons plants struggle and the simple fixes that actually work. No fluff, no recycled advice you've already heard 10 times. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and come back every week. We've still got sunlight and pests to cover, and honestly, one of them is the mistake almost everyone makes without even realizing it. So let's keep going. Number 3, the sunlight mistake. This is the mistake that's almost invisible because it doesn't look dramatic in the moment. The plant doesn't wilt or brown immediately, it just underperforms, quietly, for its entire life. Lavender needs a minimum of 6 hours of direct sun, and frankly, it thrives on 8 or more. Partial sun or morning sun afternoon shade, the kind of spot that works beautifully for hostas or ferns, is for lavender a slow sentence to mediocrity. The plant survives, it just never actually thrives. Fewer blooms, leggy growth reaching toward whatever light it can find, and a general sense that something's off without an obvious cause. Think of lavender as a plant that spent thousands of years getting blasted by intense Mediterranean sun and has built its entire biology around that deal. Put it in a shadier spot, and it's like asking a desert lizard to live in a basement. It won't die immediately, it just won't be the lizard it was built to be. Audit your space honestly. Watch the spot you're considering for an entire day if you can, not just a glance in the morning. South-facing locations in the northern hemisphere are almost always your best bet. If your only available spot gets 4 or 5 hours of dappled light, lavender is going to struggle no matter what else you get right. If you're growing in containers, this is actually an advantage beginners often miss. You can move the pot. Track the sun through your space for a day, then put your lavender exactly where the light pools longest. A movable pot solving a fixed light problem is one of the simplest container gardening wins available, and almost nobody uses it. Number 4, the pest mistake. Here's a pattern that happens constantly with beginner gardeners. Lavender starts looking a little off, and the immediate assumption is pests. Spray something, hope it works. Often it doesn't, because the actual problem usually isn't pests at all. It's almost always one of the first 3 mistakes we just covered, showing up late. That said, lavender does have real pest concerns, and knowing the difference matters. Aphids show up as small clusters of soft-bodied insects on new growth, usually in spring. They're more of a nuisance than a true threat to an otherwise healthy lavender plant. A strong blast of water from the hose dislodges most of them, and a healthy plant outgrows the rest. Spittlebugs leave behind small, frothy white masses that look alarming but are mostly cosmetic, a brief life stage that passes without intervention in most cases. Root rot fungus is the real threat. But it isn't a pest. It's the consequence of mistakes 1 and 2 finally catching up with the plant. This is the trap beginners fall into. They see yellowing or browning, assume it's a bug problem, treat it with pesticide, and the plant continues declining because the actual issue was sitting in soggy, rich soil the entire time. Before treating for pests, rule out watering and soil issues first. They're statistically far more likely to be the real cause. If you do have a genuine pest issue, resist the urge to reach for harsh chemical treatments. Lavender's strong scent already repels many common garden pests naturally, which is part of why it's having a real moment right now in companion planting and pollinator garden trends. Gardeners are increasingly using it as a natural pest deterrent, planted alongside vegetables and roses. A healthy lavender plant, grown in the right soil with the right light and the right watering, rarely has serious pest problems at all. The plant's natural chemistry does most of the defending for you. 5 secrets, though really they're 4 mistakes and 1 mindset shift. Water less than you think you should, use soil leaner than feels right, give it more sun than seems necessary, and diagnose problems by checking the roots and the routine before you reach for a pest spray. The 5th secret, the one underneath all the others, is this. Lavender thrives on conditions that feel almost like benign neglect. Once you stop treating it like a plant that needs constant attention and start treating it like the tough, sun-loving, drought-built survivor it actually is, it stops being the plant you keep killing and becomes the plant you forget about in the best possible way. That dead lavender from the beginning of this video wasn't unlucky. It was overloved, undersunned, and planted in soil that was working against it from day 1. Fix those 5 things and lavender doesn't just survive, it becomes one of the most reliable, low-maintenance, genuinely beautiful plants in your entire garden. If this video saved you from making a mistake you didn't know you were making, that's exactly what this channel is here for. Like this video, it helps more beginner gardeners find advice that's actually accurate instead of recycled from the same 10 articles everyone else copies. Comment below and tell us which of these 5 mistakes you've made. We've all made at least one, no judgment. And subscribe if you haven't already, because next week we're getting into 7 planting mistakes to avoid. If you've ever wished to grow a garden, that video is for you. Same time, same channel. We'll see you there.